Look at the great cathedrals and capitals of the old world. Look at their impossible domes, their soaring spires, their intricate metalwork. We are told they were built by men with horse-drawn carts and primitive tools, as monuments to gods and governments. This is a lie. They were not just buildings. They were machines. For centuries, we have walked among the ruins of a forgotten golden age, never realizing what we were looking at. The architecture of the old world, found on every continent, shares a secret. Its domes were not just for beauty. Its spires were not just for prayer. They were the components of a technology so advanced it borders on magic, a technology that powered a global civilization. In this video, we will expose the truth about this forgotten empire, a civilization that mastered a network of clean, free, and wireless energy. We will reveal how their technology worked, and how it was deliberately buried under a flood of mud and lies. If you want to know the secret of the old world's power, subscribe now and join the rediscovery. Our story begins with a heresy whispered in the corners of the internet, a theory so vast it reframes our entire understanding of the past. The theory of the Great Tartarian Empire. Look at any world map from before the 19th century. You will see it. A vast territory stretching across Siberia, Asia, and even into the Americas. A civilization that official history has reduced to a footnote, calling them savage hordes. But the real evidence of Tartaria is not in the maps. It is in the architecture. How is it that cities as far apart as San Francisco, Melbourne, and St. Petersburg all share a similar, impossibly grand style of building? We are told these structures, with their colossal columns, 3-meter-high doors, and magnificent domes, were built in the 17th, 18th, and 19th centuries. But look at the photographs from that time. You see men in top hats and horse-drawn carriages standing before half-finished buildings of a scale and complexity we would struggle to replicate today. The official narrative is full of holes. They tell us the famous star forts, found across the world, were designed for defense against cannon fire. But their geometric perfection, visible only from the sky, suggests a different purpose. They were not forts. They were nodes in a network. They were the foundations upon which the great power plants of the old world were built. We are looking at the silent, stone evidence of a unified, global civilization whose technological prowess dwarfed our own. So, how did this technology work? The secret lies in understanding that these buildings were not passive structures. They were active, dynamic machines designed to harness the natural energy of the earth and the atmosphere, an energy that ancient cultures called ether, prana, or vril. Let's break down the machine. It started at the top. The spires, antennas, and metal statues often seen at the peak of these buildings were not just lightning rods. They were designed to attract and channel the powerful electrical energy of the ether. This energy was then drawn down into the massive domes, which were often coated in copper, an excellent conductor. These domes acted as capacitors, gathering and storing the atmospheric charge. The beautiful rose windows we see in cathedrals, with their intricate metal tracery, were not just for letting in light. They were harmonic resonators, tuning the energy to a specific frequency. This tuned energy would then be directed down through the building's massive stone columns into the foundations. And here lies the most crucial part. Deep in the cellars and crypts, large quantities of water, and sometimes even mercury, were used to create a powerful toroidal field, a swirling vortex of energy. This vortex would interact with the natural electromagnetic currents of the Earth itself, the ley lines, turning the entire building into a colossal generator. It drew power from the sky and from the ground, creating a surplus of clean, resonant energy that was then broadcast wirelessly, powering the surrounding city, lighting homes, and running streetcars, all without a single wire in sight. Every great city of the old world was a self-sustaining oasis of light and power. This science seems like fantasy to us today, but there was one man in the modern era who understood it. One man who came breathtakingly close to rebuilding it. His name was Nikola Tesla. We are told he was a brilliant inventor. The truth is far more profound. He was a rediscoverer. In the late 1890s, Tesla began work on his most ambitious project, the Wardenclyffe Tower on Long Island, New York. It was a massive tower, nearly 60 meters tall, topped by a 20-meter copper dome. Officially, it was for transatlantic wireless communication. Its true purpose was far grander: to provide free, wireless energy to the entire planet. Now, compare the design of Wardenclyffe to a Tartarian cathedral. You see the same components: the antenna at the top to draw power from the ionosphere, the large conductive dome to act as a capacitor, and a deep grounding system that Tesla drilled over 30 meters into the Earth to connect with the planet's own electrical charge. He was not inventing. He was reverse engineering the lost science of Tartaria. Tesla spoke openly about this energy. He called it radiant energy, a force that could be gathered freely from the environment. But his vision was too dangerous. His primary funder, the powerful banker J.P. Morgan, realized a terrifying implication. If energy is free, how can you put a meter on it? How can you control the population? Morgan cut the funding. In 1917, the Wardenclyffe Tower was unceremoniously demolished for scrap, its secrets lost. The rediscovery of free energy had been stopped. So what happened to the original Tartarian network? How could a global, advanced civilization simply vanish? The evidence lies buried right beneath our feet. Across the world, from the 1850s onwards, we see a strange phenomenon in old photographs. Cities are covered in mud. We see buildings with their ground floors completely buried, doors that open into solid earth, windows that sit at pavement level. This wasn't a series of local floods. It was a single, global cataclysmic event. A mud flood of epic proportions that buried the old world under meters of soil and reset civilization. The origins of this event are a mystery. Was it a natural disaster, like a cometary impact that liquefied the soil? Or was it something more deliberate? A weapon that could trigger liquefaction on a global scale, burying the evidence and destroying the energy grid in one fell swoop? The photographs tell a chilling story. They show magnificent, empty cities half buried in mud, with only a few bewildered-looking survivors. And then came the orphan trains, a real historical phenomenon where hundreds of thousands of orphan children were shipped from the east coast of the U.S. to the Midwest to repopulate these newly built cities. Were they orphans, or were they a blank slate, a new population with no memory of the world that came before, ready to be taught a new, false history? This brings us to the final, chilling question. Why? Why go to such extraordinary lengths to erase an entire civilization from history? The answer is the same reason J.P. Morgan destroyed Tesla's dream: control. Imagine a world where energy is free and abundant. There are no power bills. There are no resource wars over oil. Nations have no need to be indebted to a global financial system to power their industries. It is a world of true independence, of true human potential. For a small cabal of elites seeking to rule the world, this is the ultimate nightmare. The Great Reset of the 19th century was the greatest crime ever committed against humanity. A technologically advanced, unified global culture was wiped from the map. Its history was erased, its technology was buried, and its magnificent power plants were repurposed as cathedrals, banks, and government buildings, hollow shells whose true function was forgotten. In its place, a new world was built, a world powered by dirty, scarce, and metered energy, a world of division, of endless conflict, and of debt. We were moved from a golden age of etheric energy into a dark age of fossil fuels. The progress we have been so proud of for the last 200 years may not be progress at all. It may simply be the long, slow climb out of a prison we never knew we were in,